Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Good for Business podcast. I'm your host, Colin Krieger. I sell houses and stuff, and my guest this week is notorious around town, not for fire protection services, but for running the largest Facebook group in North Mississippi. But she's here for being a friend of mine, too. It's Vanessa Poteet. How you doing, darling?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Why don't you tell everybody what you do, and then we'll go back to your origin story, how you got here.
Okay. I'm Vanessa Poteet, and I'm the salesperson for the Golden Triangle for E-Fire. I sell fire extinguishers. We do sprinkler inspections and backflows and anything to help put out a fire.
There you go.
We got you.
And you also run, let's talk about the Facebook group.
If we must.
What's the name? It's Columbus, Mississippi.
What's going on?
Open parentheses, close parentheses. What's going on? How many members in there now?
Almost 31,000. Or no, excuse me. 31,000.
And talk about how that came about. I remember when the newspaper did an article about 3 years ago on you, right?
Yes.
And did it come out because of COVID, or was it before that?
No. It's actually, August will be 13 years.
Oh, wow.
I've been running it. So we are, I'm originally from Mobile. So we moved up 20-something years ago, and Facebook was just starting to become popular. And this was a very, very small town compared to Mobile.
Yeah.
And so there were groups that were starting to happen, and I got blocked off a group for liking a comment. That's when Facebook just opened, like, where you could like comments. Yeah. And so everybody was going through liking them and stuff, and I got booted off of this one, and I was like, well, that's just okay. So then I started my own. Why? I have no idea.
Well, I remember because 13 years ago, I was just finishing up at the Packet, which was probably the cause of a lot of the disconnect. What's the word? Bad word in town. A lot of the fights in town. You know, we'd cover crime and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was right around the time I know I was a pioneer in your group. I was one of the first people starting, but causing trouble. So 13 years, huh?
13 years in August. Yes.
You know, and that's also back in a beautiful time. And this happened during COVID, with the peak of COVID, fighting and stress and politics and all. I think there was a beautiful time prior to that, 18 to 20, where every single event was on Facebook. It was so easy. Like, if you wanted to find out about something, every business was on Facebook, every event, almost everybody. And then it's sort of kind of all over the place now. It's definitely for like 45 and older people are still on there, and Columbus is
absolutely
pretty huge on there. And the complaining people find their way onto it
every day,
all the time. My favorite part of the Columbus, Mississippi, what's going on when you're on there, and I'm going to tell another story so you understand this story. So when I was in college at the University of New Orleans in 1995, the guy that started Greenpeace was coming to speak at our organization at the college, just to come there. And you know, we're like playing hacky sack, and all the hipsters were like, the Greenpeace guy's coming. Well, like, so he comes up there, and he's like, man, I don't know if y'all have actually heard the breaking news, but he started Greenpeace in like 1978 with his girlfriend or whatever. They developed it, and this was in the early 90s. And the week prior to him visiting us, the executive board of Greenpeace kicked him out of Greenpeace. And when they kicked him out of Greenpeace, the organization he started, they told him that he didn't fully understand what the mission of Greenpeace was. And I think about that with you, as every once in a while you're commenting, somebody else will be like, we need to turn her into the admins. And I'm like, she's
yeah.
She originated this whole thing.
Sorry you didn't get that memo.
Yeah. I was like, because I mean, how many admin people are on there now?
So I'm still the only admin, but I do have moderators. 16 moderators on there.
Yeah, I noticed like some stuff gets approved real quick. So
well, and so this past year, AI did some stuff with Facebook and allowed some different settings. So if it's kind of something that's been pre-approved, it will go ahead and approve it. Yeah. And then so sometimes it gets approved wrong, and then some are still in the standby to get approved. And then I can, like the Columbus Arts Council and places like that, I have pre-approved. So then every time they post, their stuff automatically goes. It doesn't matter. So that helps out a lot with that. Yeah,
it quicks it up when you've got people that are doing good stuff.
Yeah.
Also. Well, let's go back to start at the beginning. Talk about your origin story. Where'd you grow up?
Mobile, Alabama.
All right.
Midtown. Went to Fondy Elementary, Azalea Middle, and Davidson High School. I've got two girls. I've been married. This year will be 25 years. Our oldest daughter, we've been together for 30. Our oldest daughter will be 28 this year, and our youngest will be 24.
Ugh.
And I have four grandbabies now. Two boys, they were born the same year, so they'll both be four this year. And Miss Oakland, Princess number one, is 18 months. And Princess number two is 3 months, Miss Juniper.
Oh,
So,
goodness.
yes. And I'm like, I hope you girls are done because I can't afford any more grandbabies.
Yeah, no, they get expensive.
They're precious. Yes.
I have 3 teenage daughters right now, and I don't look forward to. I mean, I want grandbabies, but you can see how you can quickly go broke on them. So,
Easily broke. Every time I go in a store, I'm like, no, just say no.
do you treat them? Do they get better treatment than your kids got?
Oh, yeah, for sure. The kids say it all the time, too.
Like, I never got any of this stuff. Blah, blah.
They actually tell me I treat our dog Taco better than
Well,
them.
first of
And
all,
I'm like,
that's reasonable.
I mean,
with
he
Gumbo,
doesn't talk back.
Gumbo and Scooter at my house get incredible treatment. So, how'd you end up in Columbus, Mississippi?
So Roger was originally from Greenville, the Delta, and most of his family moved from Greenville to Columbus. And we did a couple trips visiting and stuff in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I was like, I really like Columbus. It's small, it's quiet, it's peaceful, it's pretty. It's
Yeah.
still got water because I definitely love the water.
Yeah.
So we can still go fishing. It's not saltwater fishing, but it's still fishing nevertheless. And so we finally decided that we wanted to move up here. Living in the county of Mobile, it's so big. Like Carly would have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and be out at the bus stop at like 5:45, and
Yeah.
that's too much.
That's my favorite feature of Columbus is that I can go to Kroger at halftime.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and then
Like,
be
I
back.
live downtown and be back. I'm like, and I know, like, if my kids are gone, I'm like, I know, like, something's up. Like, there's no reason. You can only catch the light at Kroger once, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So I really did fall in love with Columbus, and so we decided to move up, and we've been here ever since.
Okay. And how long have you been in the fire suppression game?
10 years.
Okay. What'd you do before that?
I was the general manager for fast food.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I did 20 years in food service. Papa John's is borderline fast food. It's good food fast,
Yeah.
but or good food quickly. But where'd you work at?
So I was at Jack's.
Okay.
I started off as a breakfast manager, went up to first assistant, and then got my own store.
Were you with Jack's here or the one down?
No, I was actually in reform at the original one, not the
Oh,
new
really?
one.
Okay.
And then my store was Aliceville.
Okay.
So I ran the Aliceville store, and I was on their J team and trained several store openings and stuff. When Mr. Reluso had it, it was really great company. Not to say it's not now, but
Yeah.
he did some really spectacular things and just kind of went out and beyond.
Yeah.
He wanted it more than just a fast food restaurant, and it was.
Yeah, and I've seen them. I've only been aware of them since I moved up here. I don't think they were in Columbus when I got here 20 years ago, but
No.
they were in reform, and I remember driving by and seeing them. And that's been from a distance, and with some history in fast food and franchise development. They, in my mind, mirror Burger King, where that seemed to be a higher standard 20 years ago, and it's just company wide. And where you're like, oh, before it was like, oh, these is really fresh, sharp tasting food, and they're not horrible. Our one here's had their incidents that have been championed on Columbus, Mississippi. What's going on? But they're trying, and the same people aren't there, so they're always doing good. And they really does have good food. It's just sometimes it's not top of mind when you have had bad situations before in the past.
Sure.
Okay, so you did that, and how'd you get into the fire game?
Well, it was a job opening for an office manager, And I went and applied, and my smile got me in.
You fooled him, huh?
I did. I fooled him. And he was kind of worried I wouldn't know the computer stuff. So I had a friend help me with Excel, and Google was my friend until I learned it.
Yeah.
And, but made way and brought his company up enough to where he could sell it. And
Yep.
he did. So.
Then you moved on down the road, right?
And then I just moved on down the road.
Okay, tell me about the company you're with now.
So the company I'm with now has been around 43 years. Their parents, their mom and dad actually started it, and an uncle. And now both sons run it, David and Nathan Strange. Super great guys. They go to NAFED and conventions and stay on top of learning all the new stuff, because Lord knows there's a new fire system every year coming out for something new. Just like out at the mills, we actually put fire systems on the big forklifts and the heavy equipment now.
Yeah, I was wondering how far y'all went, because my father-in-law is a retired mechanical engineer who designed fire suppression systems. Mainly, he was a private company, but he did the contracting for the government, all the bunkers in D.C., all that cool stuff.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it's pretty technical stuff. And
Yeah.
that's what he's explained to me before. He's like, in theory, people can design them. He goes, but if they're off 1 or 2% on the pressure, or have one valve or one gasket wrong, you can ruin a $150,000 system in 2 seconds.
In 2 seconds.
Just, yeah. And people can die.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty well. That's neat that y'all are doing that out there. Do y'all do it all over the Golden Triangle, or how far do you go?
Yeah, we actually go all the way down towards the Gulf Coast. Hattiesburg, we have a bunch of locations and stuff down there. So if it's worth the money, we'll go.
Yeah.
No distance in Mississippi and Alabama. Some of the other states that are joined have different restrictions and rules are a little harder, which I hope one day Mississippi starts getting a little stricter on who's allowed to come in and do this type of work and who's not, because at the moment there's not really regulations on it.
Yeah.
And there really should be, because there are unfortunately some companies that try really hard to do it, but they're just not doing it.
Well, we've started to see some pressure at the state level from water mitigation companies, because there's like huge companies that aren't certified to be water companies. I mean huge national ones that aren't certified in Mississippi because they don't have to be.
Yeah.
And so what's happening is that pressure usually has to come from the insurance side. The insurance companies have to say, y'all are letting people work on these fire systems who aren't certified. Like, they may have a business license, but they're not certified in this
Correct.
sort of thing. And that gets a little dicey when you're doing that, because you ask somebody for your license, and they are, but they're not specifically certified like they have to be in Louisiana or Tennessee.
Or even Arkansas is pretty strict.
Yeah, we've seen the opposite with like elevators here. We're like, I hate to break it to people, there's not a lot of elevators in Mississippi. They're all in Jackson, or there's like 7 in Columbus. There's more on the campuses. So like people can come over from Alabama and fix it, but then a licensed person has to come like check behind it anyway, and they just got a racket. They got a monopoly on the market. So
Correct. And that's something else we do too, is monitor the elevators.
Oh, the little button. Can y'all fix elevators? Or
No, it's more of a monitoring. I think they're supposed to be monitored like fire alarms.
yeah.
And so that's something that I'm trying to get in the learning side. The fires extinguishers, portable fire extinguishers, and fire suppressions in the kitchens and stuff, I'm very keen
That's like
with.
Ansel fire
And,
systems? Is that what they're called?
Ansel is a brand.
Oh, okay.
It's just a common brand, so then everybody always just
Like,
refers.
give me a Coke, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. So, but there's actual Ansel, Range Guard, Badger, Kitty, all kind of joined. They're one, and then you have Amorex, and then Captive Air now has their own particular hood vent that's all like. It's all Wi-Fi. Like, they can see everything. If you go in and change a link, they know it. If you disarm it, they know it. So there's some out there that are just way too advanced for this area.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sky's the limit with them. But the sprinkler and the backflows and the fire alarms that's I'm learning that speed on that. But because we didn't, for the past 10 years, the company I was at, we didn't really specialize in sprinklers and fire alarms. So that's just a learning curve.
Well, it's a big deal in Columbus. All the downtown buildings, if they have apartments above them, have to have sprinkler systems. And 30 years ago, that was a big issue downtown. But now that all the buildings are developed, credit to Penny Bone and Chris Jane and a bunch of other people who did stuff down here, almost all the buildings have them now. So they're all ready for apartments upstairs. Plus, it makes everything safer.
Absolutely.
We were talking about fire extinguishers earlier. Can you explain to people in the Golden Triangle, Mississippi, and everywhere, but at least in Mississippi, when does a business get to the point that it needs a fire extinguisher? So if I go into an office and it's a building and it's got one person in it, does it need one, or is it any commercial building, or what's
Absolutely. So if it's actually a building open to the public, by code, you were supposed to have a fire extinguisher. In the city of Columbus, a fire marshal can pretty much in his jurisdiction add to the rules. So he can make codes for his city, but he still has to abide by the federal code. And so 20-something years ago, one said, we're only allowing 10-pound fire extinguishers in every business in Columbus. And so that's just in Columbus. He said if his guys went in, he wanted something big enough to actually put out a fire. I totally agree with that. I try to explain to people. So you have a 2.5, a 5, a 10, and a 20 are kind of normal size of extinguishers. Take a bag of flour. If you take a half a bag, that's what you have in the 2.5 pound. If you take a 5 bag of flour, that's what you have in a 5 pound. If you take 2 bags of flour, that's what you have in a 10. So on with 4 on the 20. So obviously, the 10's going to give you a little bit more coverage to actually really put out something that needs to be put out. So I do try to recommend 10 pounds, even in your home. Just because if you have a fire, you want something big enough to put it out with. And, I mean, it's just, I've had a gentleman come in from the Brooksville area, where the fire stations are far, few, and in between.
Yeah.
It was during the 4th of July, which is coming up. It was a drought. They didn't see a spark underneath the car. The car caught on fire. He had probably brought in 6 or 7 extinguishers of all different sizes, and he used all of them, but it saved his house. And then he bought 5 more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it kind of depends where you're at, what's the value. Some people are like, oh, I got insurance. Yeah, but the insurance isn't replacing what grandma left you 30 years ago.
Or your time. When, like, if somebody lost a house in Hurricane Katrina, like, you don't just go buy. Like, you got to go and check stuff and pick stuff and replay. Plus, and then the hardest part for us was new toothbrushes, new all this stuff, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, that, and then insurance wants proof of everything that you had in your house. Like, how am I going to prove it? It was all washed away.
Yeah, I learned that lesson. Like, I have some videos of the cool stuff at my house so that I, you know, when the insurance company comes. What's the typical, like, if somebody's thinking of a red fire extinguisher hanging on the wall when they're walking to the bathroom in a restaurant, is that a 5 or a 10 pound when you think? I guess it's a 10 if it's supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, in Columbus, it's going to be a 10 pound. Yeah. Outside of Columbus, more than likely, they're going to be 5 pounds, which is still in regulation. It's not that it's not. It's just about safety, and some people just want to get away with the minimum. Yeah. So that's the minimum requirement for a certain square footage is the 5 pound.
Now, do y'all literally fill them up at your office here, or how's that work?
Yeah, I actually, when I was with the previous company, my husband and myself would do shop work in the evening so we could make some extra dinero for some of our little trips and grandkids and whatnot. So, but yes, the company I'm at now, they have a shop guy that does all the recharges in-house. If your fire extinguisher is in your business, they are required every 6 years to have a maintenance. The first one is a 6-year maintenance where we take the extinguisher apart, we blow out the powder, we're making sure it's not concrete, because in 10 years, I've had a couple that come in that were concrete on the inside. It's just kind of where they're at. And that's why the NFPA made certain regulations, is because we couldn't go and say, hey, well, your company is more prone to your extinguishers becoming bad. So they just made a overall regulation. So you got your first 6 years, and then in 12 years, we do a hydrostatic pressure test where we take it all apart. We actually pressurize the cylinder to whatever manufacturer PSI specs are on it. Most of them are 585. There's a couple that's 600. And then put it all back together, change out some rubber components and lube them back up and blow it back up. And we put nitrogen in, not just regular oxygen in them, because you can't have moisture, because then the moisture would clump the chemical that's in it.
So how often, if somebody has a business in Columbus, now I know a lot of times the fire department comes and checks every year.
So the fire department is just coming in to make sure that you are fire safety. So meaning is he doesn't want to see extension cords run up to your ceiling fans or all the
they
way.
Want to see the hardwire smoke detectors in commercial buildings.
Yeah, just certain things of that nature they're looking at. They are looking to make sure that you have a fire extinguisher. Most of the young guys don't really know the codes, unfortunately. So I'm still working with Mr. Michael, trying to get together something to help teach everybody what we look for and what we do as well. Because like I said, they're going in for different reasons. Now, some of them that go in know to look at the tag, and most of them just see a tag and like, okay, it's good.
Yeah.
But we got to look at the tag. We got to see what's on the tag, because the tag's going to have the months at the bottom, and then depending on what company, you can have 2 to 5 years on a tag. We usually just do a 2-year tag, so 26, 27, or 25, 26, however the tag's rolling when we put it on. So we're going to tag it for the year that we're in. So if I was tagging this location today, it would be June of 26. And that's how you know the tag is good for this year, all the way till next year. And that gets changed every year. Every year we're supposed to come through and do an annual inspection of your fire extinguishers. If you have a kitchen fire suppression system, that's twice a year. Your sprinklers are once a year, along with your alarms.
So for a normal business, if it's 2 people in an insurance office, they get a fire extinguisher, they're all excited, they do it right. Y'all schedule to come back the next year? Is that
Correct.
How it works? And it's pretty easy. How long is a professional fire extinguisher good for if you don't check it? Do you get worried because you don't want to? That's sort of like not change your oil. Like, yeah, it'll keep running, but eventually it's going to stop.
So in your home, because in a business, we're coming by to check them. So if you have one in your home, when you're checking your smoke detectors, changing out your 9-volt batteries, take your extinguisher out, look at it, especially if it's in the shop area. You want to look at the hose, want to make sure no dirt daubers have stopped your hose up.
Yeah.
Even if it's outside your business, that's what we're looking for too, to make sure there's no spiders, no dirt daubers, nothing that's clogging the end of the hose, the nozzle up, because that's where the powder is going to come out, and we don't want to just get stuck in the hose and not come out. You also want to look at your gauge. Your gauge is going to be on the top of the head, and it's red, and it has a yellow little triangle kind of upside down, and you have a little needle, and the little needle needs to be in the green, not in the red. And so that's one way to check to see if it has pressure. Now, I always say treat an extinguisher like it's a loaded gun. Just because the gauge says it's down doesn't mean that there's no pressure in it. Yeah. Sometimes the gauge just gets broke. And so don't ever just pull it inside the house thinking, oh, it's down, because that sucker will go off, and a hot mess you will have in 2.2 seconds. Yeah. Because that's all it takes.
Well, in my version of most home fire extinguishers, probably like a lot of people, when they move out, they realize for the last 12 years, they've had a little kitty fire extinguisher that they bought, kitty, DD,
Yep.
i.e. under their sink, and then they realize like it's there, and then there's a stain on the plywood under their sink, and they're like, oh, I haven't looked under here. There's grocery bags all around it and stuff. So hopefully this podcast will do exactly what I'm thinking right now. It's like, I need to get one mounted on the wall upstairs, or at least make sure, like, we have little escape things upstairs at our house for the kids and ways to break the windows and stuff, but I know we brought a fire extinguisher up there at one point, but I don't know where it is,
Yeah. And so that's why I tell people to even mount it inside your pantry or mount it in the cabinet if you can under your sink, so that way it stays in the spot and doesn't keep pushed back by everything that we buy, and
because you're not going to have when you need it, you're not going to have a cool head. You're gonna be panicking.
Yeah, you're going to be panicking.
You're going to look in there and see your Kroger bags and then freak out. So.
And it's not there. But I mean, usually you have a thing of flour on your counter, so if you ever have a grease fire or something, grab your cornstarch, your flour, salt. Any of those components will help put it out. Don't ever grab water, though, please, ever. And turn off the heat, the supply as well. That would always help. So if you ever have that incident and you don't have a fire extinguisher, please remember you can grab those things as well.
So being in the business, do you end up knowing a lot of firefighters and first responders and stuff? Or I know
yes.
It's a little unrelated, but
Yes, the fire departments come into the business I was at plenty of times for recharges and first responders, and then a lot of new businesses. And that's how, going back to the group, when a company would come to town, they obviously would come to me to get an extinguisher because they needed information on how to get it, or if my technician could come out and install it. And then I would say, hey, join the group. Tell us what your company does. Join it under your company. And unfortunately, now there's a 14-day minimum wait because of people that like to troll, because they get kicked out and mad or whatever. And,
they jump on real quick to attack y'all.
Yeah. And so ain't nobody got time for that.
So, all right, we'll get back to the Facebook group. I know that fire suppression's good, but I said the Facebook thing is controversial. What do you think is, it's hard to remember. What do you think's the biggest thing that's ever been on there? Like, I can't think of the longest running controversy. I know we've had like some police chases and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the biggest, well, I know the most annoying one was the hibachi buffet that went on the whole time. They closed till they opened back up over in the Ryan's location. I was just like, I swear, if I drive by there every day and it's not packed out, I'm just going to be pissed.
I remember the road to Chick-fil-A was a huge one, too.
Oh,
I remember when I mentioned that, I was like, oh, praise Jesus, the road to Chick-fil-A is fixed. And so, yeah, that was up there. You think about how obsessed people were about that. I've told this story a lot, but so the day they announced the Yokohama Tire Factory, which is now a $2 billion factory over in West Point, it was the front page news, and the right side was the business story, single column, no picture, but it was Cracker Barrels coming to town. And I remember at the Dispatch, you used to have a ticker on the side that showed how many views, and it outperformed Yokohama like 70-1. It had like 50,000 views, and the $2 billion factory, which is the equivalent of thousands of Cracker Barrels, it was like Yokohama. It was like Cracker Barrel coming to
nobody
close.
cares, crickets.
No, it's interesting what always, I don't know about what gets headlines, but really gets people's attention.
Yeah.
That's part of the stuff my brother and I do with this is like, I know that like people like, oh, like the Aldi thing was the biggest thing I've ever posted. And a lot of people in town knew Aldi was coming for a while, but it was just one day I was like, oh, somebody pulled a permit. And then I went out there and there was a guy measuring stuff with a white hat, like a helmet. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I was taking pictures because of the Aldi thing. And he goes, oh, and he just spilled the beans, like, yeah, we finally got it approved. It's real, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's awesome.
Like,
yeah, I was super excited about that because I'm forever driving to Starkville, Tupelo to go to Aldi's.
Well, that's the weird part is like Kroger, a month before it, finally Advanced Auto Parts was announced they were moving out. So Kroger's finally going to expand, but now Aldi's coming and takes part of their business, So we're going to get a nicer Kroger, which is what everybody wants, is a Starkville Kroger. But you probably around. I think Kroger will be done before Aldi really
But
gets
that'll
going.
be nice. That'll
Yeah,
be
it'll be nice.
expanded
It'll
a
spoil
little
us,
bit
yeah.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, because in economic terms, Columbus is a city of 40,000 people. Because what they do is Wednesday at noon, how many people are at the center of your town, and they consider Highway 45 and 18th Avenue the center of the commercial part of town. So we're not as tiny of a town when you're talking Wednesday at noon. So, and we are compared to when you start talking about Aliceville, Pickensville,
Absolutely.
Reform,
Yeah.
everybody's got to come here, especially with small hospitals closing and everything else. So we're helping, and this will be coming out sometime in. It'll probably be July before it comes out. It'll be a couple weeks, but sometime in August, we're in the final two. Our other industrial mega site is in the final two for big auto parts manufacturing, and I mean billions and billions. So that'd be awesome if that comes too, because it'd be another thing to throw on the fire.
Absolutely.
Hey, throw on the fire.
Throw it on the fire.
Yeah.
The Golden Triangle industry is just booming, and it's all because of the waterway. The waterway is definitely the ticket because you can take the 10 Tom all the way down to Mobile.
I had
and
no
back.
idea when I moved here. We were here 2 or 3 weeks, and I was driving over the bridge one day, and I saw like a big barge. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I had I thought everybody had to go through New Orleans to get to the center of the United States. And they're like, nah, they can take full-size barges all the way up to not like ocean-going barges, but the big ones.
Yeah.
River barges all up to Nashville. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just nobody had ever told me. I had no idea.
So something I learned too at work, because I always meet interesting people, is you can actually take the Tennessee Tom. So some people, when they retire, they do the
loop,
large
the Great Loop or whatever,
yeah,
yeah.
and they go all the way down the 10 Tom, out the bay, in the Gulf of America, around the Panhandle,
Oh, yeah.
all the way up the
Like a
East
six
Coast. And
month,
no, some people say that they'll take several years.
Oh yeah, there's some
doing
people. There's
it.
one dude going down there now who's trying to set the record for like the smallest boat that's ever.
Oh,
done
I
it.
did. Yeah. I seen that.
Yeah.
I kind of lost his story. I need to see where he's at. But yeah, there was a couple that came in that needed their extinguishers checked because the Coast Guard is something serious with that. And even on some of the big boats, they have little suppression systems on them in the engine rooms as well. So the fire world is everywhere.
There you go. So as we get close to our time here, what keywords or things do people need to think when they need to call you and help you out? Not on the What's Going On group, but if we're talking about fire suppression systems. So you and I were talking about, like, you walk in a room now and you see you're looking at tags. So if somebody sees a fire extinguisher, what color should the tag be?
It should be a bright green that says E-Fire, not the other people.
Okay. We're not saying, and listen, I'm not saying the other people are bad people.
No.
I just said they're probably good people, even though there's all these rumors on Columbus, Mississippi, what's going on about them not liking puppies. Can you imagine that? Them not liking? I don't know who said it. I'm just saying it was on the group. But right now, so they're supposed to have green tags, and they're supposed to be checked every year, right?
Every year.
Okay.
Once a year, unless you have a kitchen suppression, and that's twice a year.
Well, I have 2 fire extinguishers you need to check because I came to your office like 3 years ago to check them. To make sure we're legal, and maybe I'll get one for my house there too. So.
Absolutely. Oh, and Military Hardware in town has fire extinguishers. They are E-Fire certified. So you can go, any contractors that are out in town, if they need one that's tagged ASAP, they can go over to Military Hardware and purchase one.
Oh, that's great. So what's an average 10-pound fire extinguisher cost at Military Hardware?
$135 plus
Okay.
tax, I believe.
And it's essentially you should grab it there and then call you and say, come see me in a year.
Yep. Yeah, in a year. Call me up or leave your name with them, and we can put you on the list. But generally, most people will look at the tag and call the company up to come back and certify them. But either way,
That's awesome. That's good to know.
yeah.
And then do they have like wall brackets and stuff, or do we need to call you?
Yeah, no, they every extinguisher comes with its own wall bracket, no higher than 4 foot for handicap standards. But yeah, just make sure that you use a wall anchor if you're not putting it in a stud, because a 10-pound does weigh right at 18 pounds. We just call it a 10-pound because that's how much chemicals in it.
Ridiculous. Now I'm going to refer to it as an 18-pound fire extinguisher. I'm familiar. One of the ones I think I brought you I think I brought a 20 and a 10, the two. I don't know. It's been so long.
I think it's 2 10s you brought.
I don't know. They look different. Who knows? But you know what? They're just sitting on the ground where I brought them in the day that I got them from you. I'm the sharing. I thought this was a sharing nest of trust. Is this what it is?
Yes.
Well, that's where most.
Well,
are.
at least you know where they are.
I know exactly where they are, and the brackets are leaning on top of them too. I remember because I wiped them off and cleaned them for my Super Bowl party, and then I put them exactly back. And then they're by that like exits. I mean, I think they're in good spots. I don't know.
Okay.
So, so anybody that's open to the public, it's like a private tax or consulting office that has a locked door or something, doesn't necessarily need one, but probably should have one.
Should still have one.
And is there a fire extinguisher for how many square feet or anything like that?
So in warehouses, it's every 70 feet, walking distance. Some smaller businesses, you have, if there's sprinkler, one's allowed, but generally if you have wall dividing, you have an exit and a front, you really need one at both.
Yeah.
Some places kind of let you get by with just one. And it kind of depends on what hazard is in your business too. If it's all clothing, yeah, it's pretty flammable. So you may want one at both ends. You have a ceramic store, not as flammable. So you might be able to get one, near your equipment where your kiln and that stuff is. So it kind of just depends on what your hazard is at your business. And that's usually what we go after. Okay. But yeah, there's different regulations that we could talk all day on that.
And how do people find you to complain about Columbus, Mississippi, what's going on? I mean, not to do that, to find you about fire extinguishers.
They can just message me, give me a call. My cell number is 662-678-6191. And text me, call me, send me a private message on Facebook. I'm fine with that as well. Don't come on the site complaining to me. No, just kidding.
We can't come on. That's my favorite pastime is to call Columbus, Mississippi, or to go on the face page and do it. Yeah, I jump on there every once in a while to give some context to stuff. I'm a big fan of blaming the right person. So, like, when I see the word traffic circle or somebody's complaining about something, I'm like, listen, they had this meeting. I'm the only nerd that goes to the meetings, but, like, this is why we have these giant yellow bumpers downtown. Like, you know, there's usually a reason behind it. Doesn't always make sense. It's not always the most logical thing, but it's also, I'm also curious about like fire extinguishers and stuff, because now hopefully I'll just be walking around everywhere going, hey, what are you doing with the fire extinguishers? Hey, that isn't tagged on there. Like, I remember it from the restaurant days in New Orleans and them checking them. I've been at our Remax office when the fire department comes in, mainly because a couple of the young ladies who work there get excited sometimes when
the firemen come in.
We got a couple jacked firemen now. Like I was talking to one of them the other day that he wants to start a Mardi Gras parade. He came from the Gulf Coast.
I'm so game for that.
And he started a Mardi Gras parade, and he's jacked, and his buddy's jacked. I'm like, we need to get one of those calendars going for the ladies in town. He got like all embarrassed. I'm like, we could do pretty good with this.
Yeah, we could.
We'll put together
that would be a little fundraiser to help start off the Mardi Gras, because floats aren't cheap.
See, now we're thinking. Well, we're solving problems here. If you need to file any complaints, please go to Columbus, Mississippi. What's going on? If you don't want to file any complaints and you want to keep your building or house alive, go see Vanessa at the e-fireplace, all right?
Awesome.
All right, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. My name is Colin Krieger, and my day job is real estate. If you're looking to buy or sell, I'd love to talk to you. Or if you just want to sit and talk real estate in a no-pressure situation, I'd love to help you. I work with Remax Partners in Starkville, Columbus, and West Point, Mississippi. I can help you find an agent anywhere in Mississippi or anywhere in the country. Just reach out to our office at 662-327-7705 or find me anywhere when you type in 662-329-SOLD.